Okay, so yesterday we worked with question number 28 to 29. We'll use the same strategy, same method to do our question number 30, 31st, and 32nd. So as I've told you in the previous class, that the first thing is to scan. For scanning, you need to have a keyword. And in this case, oh, sorry, hang on. So in this case, this is our keyword. We're going to locate this one, and it's very simple. It's a name. It's the name of the paragraph. So we're going to locate this one. We know where it is, and then we're going to move on to the second step, and that's the skimming. So there's nothing for us to skim in the question. There's nothing. So we're going to go and skim our location. Okay. So C paragraph starts from here. We're going to read the whole paragraph C, and then we're going to make a general understanding of it. Was it C or was it something else? Yeah, C. So, okay. A substantial proportion of the population of modern societies engages in such tourist. A substantial proportion means good proportion of population of modern societies. Modern society means the in the societies where we are living nowadays. It's today's world. They're talking about modern societies. Substantial proportion means a good proportion. Okay, good number of people are the population engages in tourists, and I guess their daily activity practices. Okay, practices means they like the touring. Means the generation that we have nowadays like to tour a lot. That's what they're telling. Okay, new socialized forms of provisions have developed in order to cope with the mass factor of the gauges of tourists, as opposed to the individual factor of the travel places travel. Okay. Yeah, so what they said over here is that new forms have come up. So they all know the companies, the places where we like to go to see places. Let's say, let's talk about Goa. So the Goa administration, the government of Goa has have come up with some provisions that are to deal with the mass character. Mass means crowd. Crowd means lots and lots of people. They know that will go and visit Goa. So they have their regulations, their rules and regulations for those type of people. Okay, not for single, not for individual. Okay, whatever the rules that you're going to get to see where you want to travel, they are for the whole public, for the whole group of people, not for one person. Okay, here they have said that these new socialized forms of provisions have developed in order to cope. Cope means deal with the mass character. Mass character means masses means crowd. Okay, and see, I have one, maybe in the writing class I was talking about the synonym of people, and there I was talking about the masses. Masses means or mass character means crowd. Okay, so they can refer this word to people, but again we are also people, but me and the two of you are, we are not masses. Okay, we cannot we can say that I'm living in Karnal, so I'm a dweller in Karnal. But if we go and visit Goa, we are not dweller over there because we don't live over there. It's just the another information that I wanted to give. So, and yes, so new socialized forms means new things, new rules or provisions. Provisions means, I think, rule have developed in order to cope with the cope means deal with the mass character of the gazes of tourists. Tourists means people like us who wants to visit such places, as opposed to the individual character of travel. Okay, so they don't deal with one character; they deal with lots and lots of people. Places are chosen to be visited and be gazed upon because there is an anticipation, especially to daydreaming and fantasy of intense pleasures. Okay, let me read this again. I told you that it's difficult for me as well. Places are chosen to be visited, okay, and be gazed upon because there is an anticipation, especially through daydreaming and fantasy of intense pleasures, either on a different scale or involving different senses from those customarily encountered. Such anticipation is constructed and sustained through a variety of known tourist practices such as films, TV, literature, magazines, records, and videos which construct and reinforce this daydreaming. Okay, so what they have said over here that places are chosen to be visited. Places are chosen first. Like there are some beaches on Goa which we get to hear a lot. I never heard of the name of any beaches, but there might be that some important beaches, beach, which they have figured out would be good to attract lots of people and then lots of revenue. That's what they have said over here in this line. If places are chosen by the government or maybe by whoever is um, um, safeguarding that particular place to visit the place and be gazed upon because there is an anticipation. Anticipation means opposition, means anticipation means you say that um, we get to see something by our naked eyes. That is not what we've been told to visit. Like I gave you this example yesterday as well, that if you choose a company, any company, to visit Shimla, okay, let's say that you have registered with the Thomas Cook. Thomas Cook is the name of the company who plan the touring, okay, who plan everything for you to visit in any place in Europe, America, Canada, New Zealand, USA, even in India, even China, wherever you want to visit. You can go and buy a package from Thomas Cook and they'll help you out with everything. Okay, so they have figured the place, they have chosen the place for you to visit. Okay, but maybe there are some chances that you won't get to see the actual actual culture of that particular place because they have chosen that one specific place for you, not the other one. Like if people want to come to India and they know that India is a developing country and they know that we have a huge number of slums in India, but we are not we don't have the slums in the whole country. There are beautiful places, there are some posh area and villages are also good to visit, but we never get to we never get visitors from the foreign countries because they don't know about that these places are existed. So company and the government officials sold to some kind of place, but there is some anticipation whether you would like it or not. Okay, that's what they're saying. Anticipation, especially through daydreaming and fantasy of intense pleasures. Okay, so we dream about that particular place. Like if what we know about Goa is that it has a beach, it has casinos over there, but there might be other things that we'll get to visit in Goa, we get to see in Goa. And in Shimla, other than hills and other than uh, cool weather, there might be other things that we get to see in Goa. So what they have said over here, that through daydreaming means we only know about the places, the things that we've been told by the TV channels and all that, and fantasy of intense pleasure, either on a different scale or involving different senses. Whatever the scale you're talking about, it could be a large number of pleasure, huge amount of pleasure that we are experiencing about one particular place, okay? Or it could be different senses, involving different senses from those customarily encountered, okay? So it could be anything, right? Such anticipation is constructed, and constructed means it was created. This anticipation is constructed and sustained through a variety of known tourist practices, such as films, TV, literature, magazines, records, and videos, which construct and reinforce this daydreaming. So these things make us dream about that particular place. If these things make us believe that these are the things we'll get to see over there, we'll get to visit, or we'll get to hear from there, okay, or we'll get to see. Okay, so like films, TV, literature, magazines. I haven't been to Goa, and how do I know that Goa has beaches? Films, TV, literature, magazines, records, and videos that we've been told to watch, and they are constructed for us to daydream about that particular place. So the whole thing about this is that let me go back again and see if we can Okay, yeah. So lots of people like tour nowadays. That's what they have seen. But the rules that are and the things that are constructed for for the group of people, not for the individual. They don't want just one person to visit the place. They want the lots and lots of people so that they can generate the revenues. Okay, and there's some problem. There's some anticipation means indulging into that particular thing more I would say that anticipation means that you are fond of that particular thing. They have hooked you with that place. Okay, so how they create all of this, how they make us to daydream about that particular place, and how they make us fantasize that place by video, literature, books, records, and audios, and all that. They construct all of these things about that particular place. They choose a place, and then they get us to watch that through YouTube videos, through newspapers and articles and all that. That's what they do. Okay. So this is the overall understanding of this. I've told you and you have experienced it by yourself that it's a difficult one. And as you can see that it took me a couple of minutes to understand and explain it to you. Okay. So we have this one, the politics of tourism, right? So politics means they have some kind of things over there that we don't like, and then they play with that with our mind. So they haven't talked about anything about politics, so we won't be considering this one. The cost of tourism. The cost of tourism. Okay, no, they didn't talk about this one. They're justifying the study of tourism. No, this one, I think this one is gone. Tourism contrasted with travel. Tourism is contrasted with travel. Contrasted with travel means contrasted means it goes against with traveling. What they were saying over there that they want people to hook to that particular place. So traveling is not tourism. That's what they're saying. So what is tourism? Is that they'll choose one place and then they'll make you visit that particular place. That's the tourism. But the traveling is totally different. Traveling is that you go and wander around that particular place. If we get to hear that Goa has beautiful beaches, okay, but if you are touring, if you are in the tourism, then you'll get to see only those places that you've been told. But if you're traveling means that you, instead of going to beaches, instead of going to casinos, you go and go ahead and watch whatever you want to watch, whatever you like to see. Okay, sense of modern tourism. This one is gone. Yeah, I guess this one is gone as well. Tourism versus leisure. No. The artificiality of modern tourism. No. The role of modern tour guides. They didn't talk about any guides. This one is gone. It's the example. So what I did is that I read these ones first. This one was gone, so this is gone. They didn't talk about course. There was no word about politics, so these two are gone. This one is left to leave this one. This one is gone as well. This one is gone too. Tourism versus leisure. This one is gone. No, this one is not gone. But they didn't talk about any leisure activities. No, so this one is gone too. The artificiality of modern tourism. No. The role of modern tour guides. They didn't talk about any guide. So if you use the elimination method, means you're looking for wrong ones, then at the end you'll get to you're left with the correct answer. That is, tourism contrasted with travel. It's a difficult passage. I'm telling you this. I totally agreed with you, but there might be some chances that you get such type of passage. Though at least go ahead and try and make a general understanding of it. Okay. The answer to this question is fourth. Write 4 over here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do the 31st. Let's see. The first is E here. One of the earliest dissertations on the subject of tourism is Boston's analysis of the pseudo event, where he argues that contemporary Americans cannot experience reality. Okay, so they cannot. Okay, so one of the earliest dissertations on the subject of tourism, so it means someone studied tourism, and what they studied on tourism in the starting, that analysis of pseudo event. Pseudo means fake event. Pseudo means fake, means not real, means it's a direct, it's the diversion from the actual thing. In 1964, they studied it, where he argues that the contemporary Americans cannot experience reality. Contemporary means new Americans, they cannot experience reality directly, but thrive on pseudo events isolated from the host environment. Okay, and the local peoples, the mass tourists travel in guided groups. Okay, so yeah, but thrive means developing on pseudo events. Pseudo events, I told you that the fake events means not real, and if you don't want to call them fake, then you can say that they are gonna misguide you. Okay, they're gonna misguide you. They're gonna isolated from the host environment. Host environment means isolated means separated. Host environment means let's say that I am from Karnal, so I am a host here. If two of you are gonna visit Karnal, then I'm gonna be your host. I'm gonna welcome you over here. So host environment is the environment that is created by that particular place. So in Goa, they have a separate environment. In Shimla, they have a separate environment of their own. So that's you're gonna call the host environment. So what they have said over here so far, that the tourism, they worked, some guy worked on tourism, and what they found that it's they don't Americans don't get to see the reality, okay, of that particular place, because but try on pseudo events. And yeah, so these Americans, they develop their knowledge on pseudo events, fake things, okay, which are not related to and separated from that the particular place. Okay, and the local people, the mass tourists, and the local people. Okay, so it's separated from environment and from the local people. It's all together. So I gave you the example that if you go ahead and buy a package from Thomas Cook for you to visit, let's say Paris. Let's say that you want to visit Paris, and so and this Thomas Cook company have chosen some of the places where you like, but they will have you visit only those places which they have chosen. They'll pick the Eiffel Tower and maybe some other places from in the Paris, but then the actual people will be isolated from you, because then you'll experience the reality of that particular place, that whether the place is real or it's just a fantasy. Okay, we all know that the America is a really good country, a really beautiful country, but when we go over there and talk to the people who are living over there, and experience the environment, the working environment or living environment, then the reality is going to be totally different. So these Americans, they build their knowledge on pseudo events, means fake events, and they are separated from environment and local people. Mass tourist travels in guided groups. Mass tourist, again, the crowd, the whole group. Let's say you have 12 to 15 people in a group, and you want to visit Paris. So they travel in guided tour. You'll have your own guide, and they'll explain only about those places which are chosen by that particular company, and finds pleasure in an inauthentic, contrived attractions, volubly enjoying the pseudo events and disregarding the real world outside. Okay, so what they are gonna do, they gonna have you pleasure of inauthentic. Inauthentic means not original. Okay, authentic means original, legit, but inauthentic means not real. Okay, not original. It was created. Okay, it was created by people. Okay, and enjoying the pseudo events means fake events. You're gonna be enjoying just the fake events and disregarding the real world outside. Okay, so whatever the real world that the Paris people, let's take an example of Paris, the Paris people are living in, you won't be able to see that if you are just buying a package. Over time, the images generated of different tourist sites come to constitute a closed self-perpetuating system of illusions which provide the tourists with the basis for selecting and evaluating potential places to visit. Such visits are made says says Borstein, within the environmental bubble of the family American style. Okay, so he worked on on this this topic where he studied the environment that and the local people we are separated from the world people get to visit. Okay, so they have created the fake environment, and then we build our knowledge onto that particular environment. Okay, so this is what they're talking about. Let's go down and take a look at the list of headings. Oops. Yes, again, the politics of tourism didn't have any word of politics. Cost of tourism, no. Justifying the study of tourism, this one is gone. Tourism contrasted with travel, this one is gone too. And fifth, the sense of modern tourism is gone. Tourism versus leisure, no. The artificiality of more artificiality means it was created. It wasn't the world that we get to visit, the people, the places that we get to visit on to that particular place. It's fake. It's not real. Pseudo event means artificials and not real event. So this is the answer of the question number 31st. Okay, so I'll see that right this one over here. Okay, and we're gonna go and read the next one. F. To service the burgeoning tourist industry. To service the burgeoning tourist industry, an array of professionals has developed who attempt to reproduce our new object for the tourist to look at these objects. Okay, so look at. Okay, so they have professionals. Array means a list. Array means a list of professional. Professional means a tour guide who will guide you about that particular place. If you go and visit Taj Mahal, you'll have lots of tourist guide over there who will give you a huge amount of history. Will give you the whole history of about Taj Mahal. Array means a list of people has developed who attempt to reproduce. Means again they have created our new objects for the tourists to look at. They have created some new things for you people to look at that particular place. These objects or places are located in a complex and changing hierarchy. Oh, sorry. Okay, so and they have created these objects and places located in a complex in a, let's say that in a building or in a mall, and changing hierarchy and then changing their list. Hierarchy means the level. This depends upon the interplay between, on the one hand, competition between interests involved in the provision of such objects, and on the other hand, changing class, gender, and generational distinctions of taste within the potential population of visitors. So it's a competition between that they create your interest into that particular object, and then the second thing is that they'll change the class, what type of people are going to visit, gender, whether it's going to be male or female, and generational distinctions, whether it's going to be the younger, the adults, or the older people. Okay, that's what they're talking about. It has been said that to be a tourist is one of the characteristics of the modern experience. Not to go away is like not possessing a car or a nice house. Travel is a marker of status in modern societies. Okay, so if you want to call yourself a tourist, there's nothing that there's whatever the type of house you have or whatever the type of car you have, it's not going to do anything with that. It's the place is where you're going to travel. Okay, that is the marker of the society, and is also thought to be necessary for good health. The role of the professional means, again, they're talking about tourists. Now the tour guide therefore is to cater for the need and taste of the tourists in accordance with their class and overall expectations. Okay, so then take these tourists, these tour guide have a huge amount of role that they're saying over here, and they create some new type of complex and then objects at particular location and change the hierarchy. There's a competition between interest, the places, the things that you like to see, and then the gender, and then the classes and generational distinctions. Okay, then these tour guide, what they'll do is that they'll make things up according to your taste, according to your class. If you are a rich person, then they'll send you somewhere at a really beautiful place. They'll give you the knowledge, the experience of that particular place as a VIP. They'll consider you as a VIP. But if you are not poor, if you are not rich, if you are poor, then you won't be able to taste the actual culture of that particular place. So tour guide, I think, and I think you both know what could be the answer to this one. It is the role of modern tour guide. So this one goes for the question number. Yeah, so this is the one. Yeah. So again, these ones were difficult for me as well, but that's how you do it. This is the way of doing the list of headings. Okay, so you make your general understanding onto the paragraph, and then you come back and then read those ones that you haven't chosen so far. Like what I was doing with this question, this one is gone, this one is gone, or this one was the example, and this one gone too. So this one is left. I think they were talking about tour guide. So this is how I do this. Okay, there might be some chances that if we get some more difficult passages, I might do any mistakes. But again, this is the strategy, this is the method that we follow. Okay, so I think we are done over here with this class.